How's it rockin', Dween Nation? You're listening to the Dween Sports Podcast. We're about to get underway. But before you give us a listen, we'd love if you could like, comment, subscribe, and share. We are posting weekly sports content, and we want to build up the brand that is Dween Sports. Thank you all, and enjoy.
Welcome in, Dween Nation. This is your host, Justin Pies, alongside Genoa Agudelo, and we're here to discuss Week 11, our spicier and spiciest takes, our bold predictions episode for the week. Arguably our most fun episode. We love talking about it. Last week, we didn't hit, I know I didn't hit on my takes. I had Brian Thomas, and I had Cooper Rush. Those are two poor outputs. But hey, I'm accountable when I'm wrong. Excited for these takes this week to be correct. But before we dive into all of that, how you doing, Genoa?
Yo, Dween Nation. Justin, I'm doing so good. I want to say that, I almost got my spiciest pick last week, but then a missed field goal happened there in Kansas City. So I did pick the Chiefs to win in our game picks, but then I was feeling kind of spicy. I was in the mood for some wings, and I said, you know what? I have a feeling that the Broncos could win, and they could have won it, Justin. They could have won it, but no, the field goal was blocked there in Denver, or in Kansas City for Denver. And so, hey, I was right there. So close, Justin. I think maybe this week we can definitely hit up on our bold predictions.
Yeah, man, I was so excited for that take you had, and you were so close. Just, a hand away from the Denver Broncos winning.
And I texted you. I remember I'm like, Justin, it's gonna happen, and then you said you jinxed it.
Yeah, you were like 30 seconds too early, and you did. You so jinxed it, but they still should have made it. It's like a 30-something yarder. But
Yeah.
anyway, that was close. That was exciting to watch that game be close, and I was like, dang, Genoa's on the money. Let's see if we're on the money this week, and I'll start us off at the top. My first bold prediction is about the Packers and how they're going to dominate this week, and I am in fact shutting out the Chicago Bears in Soldier Field. I think just the Bears' offense has been putrid over the last 3 weeks since the bye week, and I think it's just going to continue to spiral out of control. I know they fired Shane Waldron, coming into this week, so maybe there's some offensive hope there, but they're not an offensive, coordinated staff. Like it's Eberflus, and then Waldron. We all knew that Waldron wasn't going to pan out. It hasn't worked out, and I just think that there's not a lot of cohesiveness right now in Chicago. DJ Moore's taking plays off. Caleb Williams looks like he's mad, and now they're playing a division rival who always beats them up. And even when they're home, I feel like this is a game where they're just going to get beat up badly. The Packers are coming off a bye week. And they get a huge, easy victory where they'll probably win like 27-0, and the Bears will go home sad, and poor Bears fans.
Yeah, Justin, poor Bears fans. They have not been able to beat their rival since 2018. I believe that was Mike McCarthy's last year as the head coach of the Packers. That was before we saw kind of Devontae Adams blow up before our eyes. I think Mitch Trubisky was there. I'm thinking that was what? Week, I would say like week 17 of the 2018 season. So almost 6 years ago. Times have changed now, and a team that plays each other twice a year, that just adds up there, Justin. And so the Packers are definitely on a win streak there. We're looking at 14 straight victories there, and it's all been by Matt LaFleur there. So Matt LaFleur has done an excellent job on executing and kind of getting the best out of this franchise, and so this is a new era in the Packers, franchise, a new era in the Bears franchise, and I'm going to agree with you there. Things probably will never change there. Bears fans have just been passing it for since 86, 85, 86. It's that great year, and it's just they still haven't yet to get over that hump and beating their rivals. So now looking into their present day team. They've lost, 3-4 in a row. Caleb Williams does not look good. I don't think they scored a touchdown in 3 games. They got destroyed 2 weeks ago in Arizona. They got destroyed last week at Soldier Field against the new upstart reboot New England Patriots. And you got to believe that I picked the Bears to win this week just because I wanted to be different. But if we're just being real here, Justin, the Packers might just run all over this Bears team. So definitely agree with you there. For me and my kind of spicy pick, kind of mild there, we're kind of starting things off with a little bit of ranch. I'm going to go with Brock Purdy. Finishes the #1 QB this week. We did talk about it a few episodes ago that George Kittle is questionable. He should be good to go, but I have a feeling he might not be good to go. But even then, Justin, it doesn't matter. Brock Purdy, he's just on fire there. He has Ricky Pearsall. He has Deebo Samuel. He has Juwan Jennings. And they have Christian McCaffrey out of the backfield. So I do think that Brock Purdy has a great game against this poor Seahawks team that kind of started off hot. And in their last 6 games, they've just been awful. They're going to come out of this bye week very sluggish, very slow. And I just like Purdy. And for some reason, if the Seahawks, turn it on and they're able to score some points, that's even better because Purdy's going to throw. And I think McCaffrey's definitely going to get a receiving touchdown this week. Debo's going to get a receiving touchdown. I mean, I do like Purdy for the rest of the year. But I think he had a great game last week. And it's going to continue there. They put on a great victory there in Tampa last week, and now they get the divisional rival. I like Purdy too, even with his weapons out. He's out for the year, and Kittle potentially missing. I do think that he still has a great game, and so give me some Brock Purdy to finish the #1 QB overall, even over a Josh Allen, a Patrick Mahomes, even a Lamar Jackson MVP and going against Pittsburgh. So. Give me Brock Purdy this week as the #1 QB in fantasy.
I mean, this is past spicy. This is very, very spicy. This could have been your spiciest take, and I would have been all over it. But still, it's. I mean, you're on the right track. I think another week of McCaffrey, being back on the football field after not playing since was it January or February. It was big, and I think it'll get better as he comes along. And I was reading some things about Kittle, so we could kind of be on top of it because we were talking about it earlier. I think he's good to go. I don't think there will be too many limitations, maybe a little bit, but he will be active for this football game. Debo's there. Juwan Jennings is stepping into his role, and Ricky Pearsall just had kind of his breakout game. So I like that. I mean, I'm not going to say #1 because you got Lamar, you got Jalen Hurts, you got a lot of good names. Allen, of course, as you mentioned. But I like it. I definitely think top 5 to top 7 is in the realm of possibilities. For me, my spicier take. I'm talking about C.J. Stroud, and he's been a big disappointment this year, and that has been maybe due to him, due to the O-line, due to the play calling. All of the above, though, you just haven't been able to rely on him. I think this week you can. They stay in Texas. They're going into Dallas, into AT&T. The Cowboys have been struggling on offense, on defense, and I feel like the Texans are angry. They just choked away a game against the Lions that would have been a huge morale victory for them. And now they go into Dallas, where I think their offense, Houston's offense is going to explode this week. Nico Collins is supposed to return. And I think CJ is a top 5 quarterback on the week. I think you got Tank, you got Nico, Mechie's stepping up, Joe Mixon, of course, is there. And just the Cowboys defense has been ugly. Jalen Hurts had a phenomenal week last week. And I expect, I'm not saying CJ Stroud from here out is going to be, top 5, top 8 quarterback, but this week he's definitely top 5.
Oh, Justin, as a Texans fan, I could only hope there. I'm really hoping he has a great game. I'm really hoping it's all CJ this weekend. Not only as a Texans fan, but I am facing Joe Mixon in our main league. I kind of, we need Joe Mixon rested, ready to go for that playoff run. So definitely hope it's all CJ. A few TD passes to Tank, to my guy Nico, and I love Mechie. You know me, Justin. I love my Alabama players, and so I need some Mechie there, and maybe some Xavier Hutchinson. And not only that, Justin. A little bit of a revenge game there. We have Dalton Schultz kind of returning to Dallas, so let's hope he can get a touchdown or two there. And he dominated in 21 there as the Dallas Cowboys tied in, and so definitely like that. Definitely like that for sure. It's going to be a very interesting one, a matchup we don't get often there for two teams in the same state. One team is very iconic. One team is very new, and it's the youngest franchise in the league. Haven't won a Super Bowl, and another franchise that's been very historic to the National Football League and has won Super Bowl. So definitely like CJ to kind of show out there in the best of Texas. You guys know me. I'm a passionate Texans fan since day one. And so nothing, it brings me joy to defeat a fellow Dallas team. I hate all those Dallas teams. But yeah, definitely like that there. For me, Justin, I'm going to go to another quarterback that a lot of Dewey Nation hasn't really seen yet. And that is Michael Penix Jr. Why are we talking about him in the middle of the season? Justin, I think that Kirk Cousins is going to struggle really bad this week. Now, they lost last week to the Saints. And granted, yes, Young Hoku missed a couple field goals. And that's, if he makes a few of those, they win. But I just feel like for some reason in Denver, in Mile High Stadium, in that high altitude there, that is, that Broncos Stadium, that home field advantage, I feel like Kirk Cousins is going to struggle badly, Justin. In Denver, we had the pick'ems. I think we both have Denver winning. I just, Kirk Cousins in this atmosphere, something screams negative fantasy points. For some reason, I don't know why. I just have this feeling. And I think around the third quarter, the Broncos might be beating the brakes off the Falcons. And I do think that, hey, Raheem Morris is going to say, you know what, let's put in the rookie. Let's just, and I'm not saying, Michael Penix is going to be the new starter going forward. I'm just saying we see a Michael Penix sighting here. And I know this might be on my spiciest take, but I got to get spicier here, I got to add a little bit of sriracha, some hot sauce on my mango habanero wings. We're not getting the spiciest yet, Justin, but I think we see the, 9th, 10th overall pick out of Washington State. We see him get some snaps in there. And maybe, Justin, he might score a passing touchdown. I know. It's very spicy.
That is, you set the bar. The first one was spiciest. This is like spiciest-ist. This is wild. That'd be something. I do think Kirk will struggle, so I'm on that train. I think, my view of the way Penix would get on, barring injury to Kirk, would be if they're just getting blown out. Mm-hmm. But that's something, and I wonder how he would look. Like, maybe would he step in and get some garbage time touchdowns, or, that'd be crazy stuff. I think you could argue he's the best passer, right, in this draft class. And he's just been sitting behind Kirk Cousins for half the season. That'd be something. You must be in on the Las Vegas scripts if this happens on Sunday. But yes, okay. My final take, my spiciest take is we're gonna see a little bit of history repeat itself, and it's been recent history that will repeat itself here, and it's in the game with Baltimore. They will have that game. Baltimore at Pittsburgh will be just as what we saw on Thursday Night Football, but you're subbing in the Steelers for the Bengals. So I expect massive games from Lamar, massive games from Russell Wilson. Grab George Pickens, let him have a game like Jamar. On the other side, I expect, Mark Andrews. I know Flowers didn't have a good game last week, but put in Flowers. Derrick Henry will get in the end zone, and Jaylen Warren will be the Chase Brown of this game, and it's going to be a similar it's going to be a repeat of what we saw Thursday night on to Sunday, but instead of Cincy, it got Pittsburgh and Baltimore still there, and it's going to be a shootout.
Wow, Justin. I can definitely see this happening there. We talked about this earlier that, the Baltimore secondary is quite awful this year, the worst in the John Harbaugh era we've ever seen. It doesn't look like what Kyle Hamilton is going to play. Marlon Humphrey's been struggling this year, Justin. And I think they drafted Nate Wiggins, right? I think he's been getting snaps. He's probably going to be on Pickens, but he's still a rookie there. And I do think that they're going to be able to take advantage. On the flip side there, Lamar Jackson's the MVP. This is the best football I've ever seen him play. His first two MVPs, you can argue his first, it was sensational. He deserved it. His second MVP last year, I'd say I'd give it to McCaffrey. But out of those two MVPs, I think this is more obvious. Well, I would say in 2019, it was blatantly obvious by week 10 he was the MVP. But this year, it's just different. Lamar seems very different. He seems just better. Maybe the weight loss in the offseason, which I never really thought he was chubby or needed to lose weight, but he had weight to lose. Maybe it had something to do. And he's going to be able to shred this defense no matter what. Pittsburgh's defense played really well last week in Washington, limiting Jaden Daniels, not even throwing a touchdown pass. But you know what? It doesn't matter. Lamar's going to go in here. It doesn't matter if it's raining, it's snowing, it's hailing, or all three. Lamar Jackson is going to put points on the board. He's playing phenomenal this year. Now he has Derrick Henry in the backfield to trick defenses all over the board. So he's going to get his. So I definitely agree with you there, Justin. We can definitely get fireworks over there in Pittsburgh. Thankfully, Justin, we get another matchup of this later on in the year in Baltimore. So thankfully, these two teams are in the same division because there is going to be some fireworks there, and luckily there's no weather conditions there. I'm looking at in Pittsburgh. It looks to be well, looks to be clear. So I'm right there with you, man. We might get a Thursday night part two, a part two in a divisional round matchup there with last week being the Bengals, now this week being the Steelers. So definitely love that. For me, I'm going to bring up the Bengals again, and they have another primetime game. They go against Herbert, and you know what, Justin? Looking at this, Chargers schedule, the best team they've really played was obviously the reigning champions in Kansas City. But you know what, Justin? I do think that this is going to be a shootout as well, Justin. And I'm saying my bold prediction is that Burrow and Herbert combined for 7 to 8 touchdown passes and 650 passing yards. I think right now Joe Burrow is playing some of the best football we've ever seen. I mean, honestly, without leaving Cleveland out, this AFC North has been playing the best football we've ever seen. I mean, if we got the Cleveland Browns of last year to go along with these other 3 teams in that AFC North, I mean, man, this would be some of the best football we've ever seen from one single division there, Justin. Looking at this, Chargers schedule, right? They beat the Raiders, the Panthers. Obviously, they played the Steelers. They lost the Chiefs, but then they played, the Broncos, and, the Cardinals are good. But they haven't really played, the last 3 weeks, they played the Saints, the Browns, and the Titans. Not really offenses that you're quite too impressed with. This Burrow-led Cincinnati Bengal team is, oh, by the way, getting T. Higgins back. They have Jamar Chase, who is on fire. They have Tanner Hudson and Mike Gesicki there. Yoshivas there, my guy, he is on fire. If they can get Jermaine Burton involved, I mean, this Cincinnati Bengal offense is quite on fire. And you know what? On the flip side here, the Chargers haven't played an opposing offense this on fire this year. I mean, they played the Chiefs, who only scored 17 points. They played the Steelers, who were led by Justin Fields at the time, only scored 20 points. And the Cardinals, they lost them by 2. They also scored 17. So this is literally the best offense they've played all year. Oh, by the way, it's at SoFi, so there's going to be no weather conditions there. Free flowing, being able to throw and move the ball there. So I like both offenses to feel comfortable there. There really isn't a crazy home field advantage there. I mean, no offense to Chargers fans, but it's not like a ruckus, home field advantage where opposing offenses struggle to kind of move the ball. It's not like Denver or maybe like a Kansas City or a Baltimore or anything crazy like that, or a Green Bay. So you know what, Justin? I think that both offenses are going to be able to move the ball. Cincinnati's defense there, Justin, you're not sure what you're going to get out of them. And for the Chargers defense, this is the best offense they played all year. Burrow's on fire. They need a win. The Chargers need a statement win, Justin, because looking at their schedule and the teams that I mentioned that they played, they haven't really had quite the impressive victory there. They did lose to Arizona. And so, I just want to say that this is going to be a shootout for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this. I might be on the other side of this, to be honest with you. Obviously, it's bold in the first part of it, but I expect, the Chargers defense has been one of the better defenses in the league, and I'm not expecting them to just shut down Joe Burrow, but obviously tame what we saw last week. And then on the flip side, Herbert's got a great matchup against the Bengals. I'm starting him in our elite league. But I'm also somewhat worried just based on how they play football, how the scheme that Greg Roman runs is run first. So that's where it's they have the matchup of through the air, which Herbert's a great quarterback, but that's also not their strength on offense. They like to run it. And then on the flip side, Burrow, who's been balling, is playing a pretty solid defense on the road. So I'd be pretty shocked to see this happen. I guess that's why it's a spicy take. But the way we've seen Cincinnati play the last few weeks has been just what we've always wanted from Cincinnati, even though they're losing some of these games. I like it. I'm interested. I will be watching that game. That's one of my favorite games, Sunday Night Football. So yeah.
I would say that Ladd McConkey and Quinton Johnston are on fire. Quinton Johnston, believe it or not, Justin, has 5 touchdowns. A guy that we were ready to label a bust last year. He was awful, dropping almost every pass that was thrown to him. So, those are 2 players that can take off. And Will Dissly there, he gets a lot of targets there, I would say. So that's the reason why I believe that, all these kind of pass catchers for the Chargers are ready to go and have their, coming out party there on Sunday Night Football.
No, I love that you mentioned those names, especially Disley's like a deep sleeper, maybe a DFS play, but maybe you need it. Maybe you have McBride off or something. You just need to throw in a guy. And then Ladd, I like Ladd. Or as the Key and Peele guy would say, Ladidi McConkey. I think you can use all of them. Why not? QJ has been a pleasant surprise. I'm glad he's not a complete bust because those are just sad stories to see. He's been really good. So I like that. Dewey Nation, those are our bold predictions, our spicier and spiciest takes of the week. Use these to your advantage to help you win your fantasy matchups this week and keep going towards the fantasy playoffs. Thank you guys for listening. Always like, comment, subscribe, and share to your friends, enemies, nobodies. I don't care. We'd love to just keep growing, doing sports and doing Nation. But yeah, Jano, send us out.
For sure, guys. Thanks for watching our bold predictions there. We want to give a shout out to all of Dewey Nation there. And our shout out to our future sponsors. We're pushing this out there to Buffalo Wild Wings. We like our spiciest. Nothing's better, Justin, than to just sit back watching football and have a plate of wings there. That Uber Eats commercial where they're kind of talking to McCaffrey and food. Football makes you hungry, and it's true there. And what better way to have some spicier and spiciest takes there? It just makes chicken wings better there. So Dewey Nation, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Like Justin mentioned, share it to everybody. Everybody just talking about doing sports. They need to hear the truth, and they need to, you need help with gambling or betting or parlays. We're kind of the people to go to there. So Dewey Nation, thanks for listening. We love you guys, and as always, peace.